to stay.
Hello and welcome to Beyond Boards. My name is Quentin. I'm 33 years old and I'm originally from France. In 2021, for the first time in history, skateboarding will be featured in the Olympic Games in Tokyo. It has come a long way since its modest beginnings in the 70s as an alternative to surfing and empty swimming pools in California. The purpose of this podcast is to talk with skaters and people involved in the industry about what's going on in the skateboarding world and around it, how it's evolved and will continue to evolve, with the Olympics and a global mainstream audience on one side, and an everlasting underground core skater scene on the other. Each episode will be an interview with a new guest, someone who has contributed to skateboarding in a unique and interesting way. My first guest today is Nestor Judkins, an American pro skater originally from Los Gatos near San Jose in California, who has traveled around the world with the help of his sponsors for the last 15 years. Last year, Nestor decided to launch a non-profit organization called Salad Days of Skateboarding. Its purpose is to support developing and underserved skateboarding communities around the world through skateboarding equipment donation and mentorship. He has partnered with other local nonprofits in Cuba, India, Madagascar, to name a few, to spread the gift of skateboarding. So here's my conversation with Nestor. I hope you enjoy it. Well, thanks again for taking the time. I really appreciate it. I'm a big fan, always been. And I wanted to talk to you about Salad Days. But maybe just to get started, if you can, tell me and the listeners about what you do. I mean, you're a pro skater and you live in Los Angeles, but you were, I think you grew up in San Jose first, right?
Yeah. So, I've been a pro skater for kind of a surprisingly long time now.
Yeah.
At least for me, it surprises me.
How long have you been pro? Do you know?
10 years pro, yeah.
Okay.
But like in the whole this skate world for over 15 years. I grew up near San Jose, California, near the Tilt Mode and Enjoy crews.
Right.
So I grew up skating with those guys, and then moved around a bit. Started traveling pretty nonstop, for the past 15 years.
Okay.
Moved to San Francisco, lived in New York for 8 years, and then just moved to LA 2 years ago now.
So it's been 2 years since, I was going to say since you've been back, but were you living in LA before you went to New York, or?
No, I've actually never even spent time in LA. Yeah, just the random skate events that we would come down here for a weekend or something.
Sure.
I never spent time, never really knew too much about it. Because I always lived in the Bay Area. I was more gravitating towards home or San Francisco. But since we moved to New York, there was a big shift in the Bay Area. It's kind of become the most expensive place on earth. So when we decided to move back, we're this is kind of the only feasible option for us.
Right.
So we came here. And to be honest, I don't know, it's different. It's like anything. Living places is very different than visiting. So
for sure. Yeah.
It's nice. Yeah. We're in a little area on the east side of LA, and it's got hills. I'm looking out my window at some hills right now. It's pretty cool.
Cool. I lived in New York for a little bit, about 10 years ago. And I lived in California when I was a baby, between 6 months old and 3 years old. But I obviously don't remember anything from that time. But I've never been to LA, so I really know nothing about the city. But
I don't know anything about it too, to be honest. It's weird, man. It's like how New York is massive and it takes a lifetime to know anything about it. LA is similar on a different level where it's massive and spread and flat. So it's from first glance, it doesn't look like much, in my opinion. And it takes a long time.
What initiated your desire to leave New York? Was it because it was getting too expensive out there, or were you just kind of bored with being out there? Or
no, I liked it. I wasn't bored with New York. I definitely miss a lot about living in New York, but I think it was just a point in our lives where it's too expensive to live there forever. And me and my wife were thinking about the future, and it just, it didn't seem like we could handle it. And we never, we got to live in a nice version of New York. We lived in the East Village of New York, in Manhattan. And yeah, we just like looked at it and we're like, like typically most people get priced out of their apartments, and
Yeah.
if we're gonna live here forever, we're gonna end up living like
New Jersey.
far away, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's not gonna be this version of it. So I don't know.
Sure.
And her job had a transfer available, so she was able to keep her job in LA.
Nice.
So yeah, we just decided to go for it. It was also late November, and I was dealing with my own existential skate career of another winter in New York, So
Oh yeah. Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but yeah, the winters are quite harsh in New York, so you probably can't skate much, right?
yeah, just for me especially, like I grew up in California, so it was hard to get used
Yeah.
to. And even people who grew up there will tell you, I mean, you don't get used to it, you just deal with it.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was just one of those things. The time came, like I guess, make a change, move closer to family and stuff. So
Yeah, I'm sure LA is really nice, and obviously it's well the mecca of skateboarding, so to speak.
yeah,
And so yeah, it's definitely a good spot for you to be in right now. And
yeah, good red curbs are pretty good.
yeah.
So yeah, it's good. I mean, I've been skating a lot more here, so yeah, it was worth it, I guess. It's also fun to try new places. So
Yeah. Yeah, well, I want to talk to you about that, definitely about traveling and everything. We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
But can you just tell me, I don't want to cover too much of your like actual skate career because you've already been in like the Nine Club, for example.
Oh yeah.
So you've already, and in other interviews, you've already talked about your career, your sponsors and everything. But yeah, can you just tell me maybe like how old were you when you started skating, and what kind of made you pick up a skateboard? What was the like? How did it all happen? Basically, how did it all start for you?
Yeah. So I got my first skateboard for Christmas when I was 9 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted it because my older brother, who was 2 years older than me, skated.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, where I grew up in California, and the time I grew up, this was like 1995. Every single teenager skated.
Right.
Everyone, they wouldn't continue skating, but everyone would get interested at skating at some point.
Right.
It was like a thing, yeah, California kids did. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was just like what you do. And I don't know, for me, it was different. Obviously, I was like fell in deep. Like anyone who still skates into their 30s knows, like it's very different type. Like most kids start for a little bit and kind of give up through high school, college, whatever. But yeah, sucked me in for sure.
What were you doing any other sports or like activities of some sort before you started skating?
Yeah, since I was so young, I was playing soccer.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I was playing soccer, like the team soccer,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I really liked it. I liked it a lot. But I remember specifically when I got really into skating, not wanting to go to soccer practice anymore.
Yeah.
And having my coach saying I shouldn't skate so I don't get injured, so I can play soccer and stuff like that.
Giving you like bad habits or
yeah, or just you got to focus on this and whatever.
Yeah.
As you start skating, you learn more about like individuality and all that stuff, and
Exactly. Yeah.
not really wanting to run laps and all that and stretch. And yeah, I remember where I grew up, there weren't many skate parks yet at the time. And there was one skate park like 40 minutes from where we lived, and we had a soccer tournament in the same town. It's called Pleasanton. And I remember like after the game, we went and skated the skate park and like in our soccer uniforms and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that was it for me.
And so you were sponsored, I think, at a young age.
Yeah, like shop sponsored, like the local skate shop had weekend demos, like they pull out ramps in their parking lot. We got sponsored like maybe like 11 or 12.
Right.
Yeah, pretty young.
And I think I read an interview that you made with it's a pretty recent one with I think the Cellar Door or something like that. And you mentioned that you were skating a little bit for shorties. Did I get that right or?
Yeah, just the Bolts, not Shorty's board company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think they mistook that.
Okay. I don't think you mentioned the Bolts. Yeah, I don't remember what it said exactly in the interview, but I was like, that seems like an interesting fit. Like, yeah.
I mean, yeah, it was weird. There was like a Y2K issue of Trans World that came out with like a bunch of interviews with kids. And I randomly had a photo in that, even though I wasn't sponsored by anybody except for the local skate shop.
Right.
And the photo in it, I was wearing like a flip shirt, skating a Santa Cruz board. And through that, I got hooked up with Santa Cruz and shorties and random stuff like that. Yeah. So that's how that evolved. But yeah, I think in that Cellar Door, he was making fun of me because I was like skating for shorties, wearing a flip t-shirt.
Wearing a flip t-shirt, yeah.
Yeah, I was a kid. I didn't know any different, you know?
Yeah, it's like
It was
whatever.
just like, yeah.
Whatever I have, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. And so Enjoy happened later, like when you were around 18 or something, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Enjoy happened, and like I grew up near those guys, and yeah, just the timing that it worked out was around 18. I was riding for Santa Cruz and things were good, and I've never been one to like want to quit companies or do that type of stuff. Like to me, it's like that's a big deal when people jump around.
Yeah.
So, but things like just were changing for me, and I was skating with Enjoy guys all the time, and it just seemed more logical.
Yeah.
And obviously, I was like a huge fan of them, so
yeah,
I didn't think I was like good enough to be part of that. So I was like, wow, it's pretty shocking to me to be like involved in that.
Yeah,
it was my favorite. When Enjoy started, it was my favorite company.
Yeah. Did you get on Enjoy right after Bag of Suck came out, or
right after Bag of Suck? Yeah, because I was like started getting boards from them when they had a few months left of filming the Bag of Suck, so the timing was tough. But yeah, right after Bag of Suck, me and then Cairo got on.
Right.
Yeah.
Was Jerry Jesus still on when you got on, or was he already Chocolate?
No, he was still on for a few years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for a few years it was like the Bag of Suck, Enjoy, plus me and Cairo.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's still a super rad company today. I mean, it's changed a lot, obviously, from a spectator point of view. But yeah, I really like all the new additions to the team, like all the international guys, like Deeds and Tyne and Costa. I hope I'm saying their names right.
Yeah.
Really rad skaters, and they have personality, and they're not just like talented skaters. They have something more to offer and to bring to skateboarding, which makes Enjoy interesting for me. It's not just about doing big kickflips or whatever. It's really about personality. So yeah,
I agree. I think I definitely like those guys too, and that's like the main thing we wanted to transfer on with Enjoy as it evolves, because everything evolves is make sure you get unique skaters. I like how it became international. Like it started out as very local San Jose friends, and then now it's like an international company. Yeah.
And so before we get into Salad Days, can you tell me a little bit about traveling and skateboarding? Like how old were you when you started like actually traveling? I mean, outside of the US for your skating, did it happen already when you were skating for Santa Cruz, or did it start with Enjoy? And
when did it start? I guess when it started happening, I went on a few random trips before Enjoy, but there was a point when like I went on a Crux trip to Shanghai in 2006 maybe, and from then on it just continued. And I was writing for Enjoy at that time, or I was on flow for Enjoy. So it was from that. Yeah, it was like spring of 2006, because I was like kind of like in a transition period. I was taking classes at community college, and I wasn't traveling for skating. And then that trip came up. I left college for that trip, and then since then was constantly traveling. Doing all this stuff.
And how did Adidas come into the picture? Was that around the same time? I think you were one of the, maybe not the very first pros to get on, but like you were pretty early on, right, with the Adidas program?
Adidas was also pure luck. It was just both Adidas and Enjoy was just right place at the right time. Like I was skating in this area and my friends did Enjoy, and then a friend of a friend was working at Adidas, and this was before they launched the skateboarding program, and he was working with them developing the skateboarding program, and he would just send me the sample shoes that he had. So I would skate like Adidas samples for free for a few years before they even launched Adidas skateboarding.
Right.
And then when they launched it, me and Benny were like the first AMs. Me and Benny Fairfax were the first AMs on Adidas. Right. It was just like,
right timing.
I had a shoe in, as they call it. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so about traveling and everything, I saw that you were on a few of Patrik Wallner's trips and videos. So you were traveling with Patrik and all those crews, like a crews of different people. And Is that when you really started traveling to locations that were not as not as logical, so to speak, for skating? Because like if you go to France, obviously there's going to be a skate scene and everything. But if you go to Madagascar or India or Pakistan, obviously skateboarding is something that they probably haven't even seen yet, or very, very low key, marginal.
Adventure travel.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've known Patrik for a long time, and I was always in contact with him about just trying to go on some of these trips, and he started going on all these exotic trips to, as he called it, like travel across the world to skate a crappy ledge. It's like it was a different agenda. Like normal skate trips were like, yeah, we're gonna go to Barcelona because it's famous and here's all these spots.
Yeah.
But it was more like John Maring trips, which inspired Patrik's trips. Were like, we're gonna go explore these cultures and find skateboarding where it doesn't exist, or maybe it already exists that we don't know about.
Yeah.
So it started with them. So yeah, I was in touch with Patrik for years. There's a lot of trips I was gonna join on, but like their trips got in the way, like trips with my sponsors. So I couldn't quite go, like his trip to Iran and a few others that looking back, I'm like, damn it. But yeah, so we were always in touch, and there's a few trips that it worked out where I had time to join. And I think the first trip we did was with John Maring and Patrik. It was for Skateboarder.
Right.
And it was to India. It was in 2013.
Was that the Gurus and the Ganges one?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah, with Sean Malto and Sibo Walker and
yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So that was the first trip on that type of, like we're talking about, like National Geographic version of skateboarding trips.
Right.
Was with John Maring and Patrik, and kept in touch with Patrik. And the next one I think I was able to go on with him was to Madagascar.
Right.
Yeah. And then we went to Kazakhstan as well a few years after that.
Yeah.
And we're still in touch. We're talking. We're like, we got plans.
Yeah.
Hopefully, in the future.
Yeah. You want to do some more traveling with him when COVID is dealt with,
Yeah, that's hopefully, yeah. So
yeah, I've always enjoyed his videos. They're really entertaining. Like there's good skating, but like all the the scenery and seeing the people discover skateboarding or learning more about it. Yeah, it makes it so much more interesting for me. Like so some skate videos that are just trick and like on famous spots, whatever, in Los Angeles or Barcelona, they can be entertaining, but like after a while it gets a little old, and I feel like there's much more it's much more interesting what you guys were doing with visual traveling and taking skateboarding to just different places. So
yeah, I agree. I mean for me personally, like I was saying, I would go on all these skate trips, and as fun as they are, as much as I love them, I feel like, I don't know, it's different. People look at it differently. I was always very conscious and aware of, first, like the freedom that the pro skating life gives us to travel and the opportunity to travel. So like every trip we went on, even most of the time, I feel like I'd wander around the city by myself while a lot of people were like chilling in the hotel or whatever.
Yeah.
I could never do that. Like I don't know. I was always so interested in where we were going, and it just evolved from that. So like meeting like-minded people like Patrik and John and stuff, and taking it to the next level, and like realizing we have this unique opportunity to travel and use skateboarding as like the passport to travel.
Right.
Yeah, and it just clicked. And I don't know. It's very it takes over, man. It's the adventure of it. It's really fun.
Yeah. It looked like it, certainly. Yeah. And I assume all these travels, not just the visual traveling ones, but all this traveling probably sparked the idea for Salad Days for your nonprofit.
Yeah, exactly. It led to it. I think the idea for Salad Days came specifically from that Madagascar trip. That was in 2014. And we were in contact with skaters from Madagascar before we went there. So we knew there were skateboarders, like there's skaters everywhere. So we were talking to these skaters, and they're like, yeah, pretty much told us how like they don't have any access to get any skateboards. And that was the first time like we went on this trip where I brought pretty much just everything I had in stock, like I brought an extra duffel bag of all my boards, random trucks, pieces of wheels, shoes, whatever I had.
Yeah.
And, like seeing their face at the end of the trip, like they're almost crying, and it was just something that really like affected me. Yeah, it affected me. And so that gave me the original idea of trying to do something to like help these skaters make that connection to gain access to what we have, because knowing the world I've been living in for so long of like everyone has a skateboard growing up in California, to then becoming like a sponsored skater where it's like we get 10 boards a month for skating. It's just so much different like levels of access, and like I don't know, I wanted to kind of form some kind of nonprofit that would bridge that gap. And then I thought like being a pro skater had this unique opportunity to do it on another level, because I could use my skateboarding, my travel from being a pro skater to reach these people. And since that trip, I've been doing that on my own for all these years, for like, the past 6 years. Every time I could go somewhere like that, I would bring a bunch of boards, and it just kept going from there. And then, I wanted to form Salad Days a few years ago, but then I was living in New York. So I was like, I'll just wait till I move back to California to do all the paperwork.
Right.
Finally moved back here, and then finally did all the paperwork, which is a total nightmare.
Yeah.
And I made it. Yeah, it worked. Unfortunately, the timing of it coincided with the global stop. Yeah. But c'est la vie, right? Like, we'll be out there again. I have a lot of boards, and I've been making a lot of contact with different skate scenes across that we're trying to help. So there's a lot of work to be done in that.
For sure. Yeah. And so since you started doing this, you tend to bring equipment with you that you redistribute to skaters when you're on site. But do you also like send out equipment to them, or how does it work basically?
Yeah, that how I operate has been shifted because of the COVID. Obviously, the idea was to do more in-person travel, to like visit the scene. And with Salad Days, I wanted to start bringing other people and kind of be like a manager of sorts. Like I would plan these trips, like I was going on all these trips and doing, these outreach trips on my own, and other skaters were reaching out like, oh, that's so cool, I'd love to do that. So the plan was like, oh yeah, I'm going to invite some other pros or skaters or whoever who I think would be good, like a good influence to have on these trips.
Sure.
So that was like the main objective for Salad Days, was to kind of like help manage these trips and invite other people along, and thereby gaining more access to more equipment.
Yeah.
Because to be honest, it's a lot cheaper to travel with extra packed luggage of skateboards than it is to ship things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, shipping international is a bit sketchy. First of all, it's really expensive, and you have to deal with customs in a different way. Where like if you travel, you're still dealing with customs, but it's easier to sneak it through with in your luggage.
And
ship things. Yeah, that's the goal, and that's what we mainly want to get back to doing. When travel's possible again.
Sure.
But with COVID going on, as long as it's been going, I felt the need that like I got to do some kind of action, and decided to send a shipment and just take the risk and see how it goes through customs.
Right.
So yeah, I've been working. The first project we worked on is in Pakistan, and that actually came to me from my friend Kenny from Kenny Reed.
Kenny Reed, yeah.
He's been helping me out a lot. Like I said, Patrik, Kenny, John Maring, it's all these like-minded skaters that have like gravitated into this type of this type of activity. And but Kenny brought this idea up to me because he's been in contact with these skaters in Pakistan, and they had the exact situation that we're looking to help, is like skaters where they have no access to anything. Like there's no way to buy boards there, and if you could buy a board online, it would be way too expensive. So yeah, we decided, rather than waiting indefinitely to doing one of these trips, like we would just get in contact over Skype with the local skaters and try to like build this relationship with them and send out a shipment. But, like we could only send 2 board boxes, which is 12 completes, so it's not as much as if we could travel there. We could bring a lot more boards. But and then also I thought too, like maybe the optics of it is, I don't know if people are like, oh, he's just trying to start this thing so he can keep traveling. But yeah, obviously I love to travel, and I like having that personal experience of like building up these scenes, and interacting with the people. But yeah, I want this to like just help people. I want them to get the boards. Like I don't need to do it for any reason. So yeah.
No, it doesn't seem like you're doing this for selfish reasons. I mean, it's quite the opposite.
Oh, I know, that's stupid when you say, hearing someone else repeat that sounds stupid, but yeah, I'm
No, it's really cool. I like the idea of bringing skateboarding to places that haven't really been confronted to it yet, or who don't have access. I think you were mentioning Cuba on one interview or something. about how it's difficult for them to acquire American skateboards or whatever, so for the skate scene to grow and develop, it's obviously a challenge. So if people like you are, bothering to go there and try to help them and bring equipment and just, teach them how to skate or whatever, just hang out with them, and it will definitely help the scene grow. So
Yeah. I mean, that's the point, is a lot of these places like Cuba and Pakistan, as I described, like in Madagascar, they have skaters, and without people coming and bringing skateboards, they can go for long periods of time with no skateboards. That's the only way. Like Cuba right now, I've been talking with my friends, and they've been particularly hurt by the pandemic and the travel closures. They've ran out of boards for months now.
Oh yeah,
Like,
that sucks.
completely out. Yeah.
Mm.
So it's just one of the effects of it. Like when you can only get boards that way,
Yeah, exactly. Well, hopefully it will change soon. But yeah, it actually, thinking about that a few days ago, as I was just documenting myself about salad days and everything, I was just thinking to myself that when I was younger in skate videos, like a lot of skaters would focus boards in various ways, and sometimes just funny ways, whatever. But like when I think about it now, it seems so stupid. It's like such a waste of good quality skateboards of wood, and it's like so stupid when you think about it. But obviously, like 20 years ago, people didn't see it that way. But yeah.
No, I agree. I personally do not like when people focus boards. Guiltily, I've done it like 3 or 4 times in my whole life.
Yeah.
I really don't like it. And
Mhm.
that's also another evolution I forgot to mention, of the idea, like for salad days, was coming from going on so many skate trips with pro skaters and seeing how expendable skateboards are to us, And yeah, I'd see like everyone focusing boards, but more so people like setting up new boards every day and just
Yeah,
leaving the old board in the hotel room or whatever,
that's
or
right.
like leaving it in the trash can. And for a period of time, like when I was going on more skate trips, I would, at the end of the trip, gather everyone's used boards, which is like has 2 scratches on it, and bring them home with me to like bring on the next trip. But yeah, that's also the idea, is it's very sustainable. Like what goes into making these wooden boards is like, okay, yeah, you get the wood from Canada, it gets shipped all the way to somewhere else, it gets made, it gets shipped to where that skater lives, and they set it up and use it once.
Exactly. Or like for a day or two, and
so it's like trying to make something more sustainable, and from that like unique position of like getting boards from pro skaters, like it helps them out. They just have them sitting around their house.
Right.
They can grab them, give them to people who can use them, or even just to like get the knowledge, spread the knowledge of like making people more aware what goes into making their boards.
Sure. Yeah. No, it's on the same subject. I remember seeing, I don't remember who it was, but in a 9 Club interview, someone saying like, "Oh, I like having a freshly new board, set up, and I'll keep it for like a few days, and afterwards I'm done with it because it's just too, I don't know, like it doesn't pop as well or something." And I was just thinking to myself, like, just say that to a kid in Madagascar who has, to keep a board for like 2 years or something.
Yeah.
Who has to, pray that he doesn't break the board in the process while he's skating.
Yeah.
And this guy in the US who can have access to it will, just because he can, he will change his board however often he needs to.
Yeah, I mean that's just the situation. Like I said, pro skaters get boards like 10 new boards a month.
Yeah.
Like who knows how many? Like that's how much we get from Enjoy. Like
Mhm.
I don't know how much other pros get. And yeah, I mean,
I'm sure a lot of you guys, like when your board doesn't feel right anymore, you'll just give it to a kid at a skate park or something.
Yeah.
You're gonna throw it away, obviously.
Yeah. And that's what was happening at the end of trips. Like people would kind of give the boards to a local and be like, "I'll bring it to a shop." But on occasions when a board got left in a hotel room or somewhere else, I would grab it.
Right.
Because unfortunately that would happen too. But for the most, people would try to like make sure something happened with the boards. But yeah, no, I guess it's like the analogy of like in the US, I think about food production and
right. Yeah.
I think about how
How much
like
waste?
40% of food gets thrown away, and yet like 10% of the people go to bed hungry. It's like
yeah. So
like
stupid.
that's a huge issue, and this is in like every industry. And then you can translate that into skateboarding in the exact way of what we've been talking about.
Yeah.
The boards exist, and there's so many skaters who need boards who can't get them. So just trying to connect those dots.
Yeah.
All in my carry-on suitcase, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's why I started Salad Days, was just to like to like be able to do more of this work,
Mm-hmm.
and then like just to spread the word and like kind of get people to acknowledge that. So they don't have to like do it through my organization, but like if some other pros are like, oh, I'm going to bring extra boards on the next trip.
Sure.
Like, cool, please just do it.
And so you've done trips for salad days to I'm trying to remember, but there was Madagascar, India, I think Pakistan.
We haven't done anything with salad days yet since I formed it.
Oh yeah, well, not officially, yeah.
But yeah, for me, like in this idea, Madagascar was the first one that kind of like started the idea. In the years since then, like over the years, like 2017 to now is when I got serious about it, and like had more free time because there wasn't as many like skate sponsored trips, so I was able to plan more of these trips and make more contacts with people. Like made friends with Miles, who runs Cuba Skate, Miles Jackson.
Okay, yeah.
And like befriend these people who are running these other organizations. So I went to Cuba 4 times with him in the past 2 years. Cool. To just only for this, just to bring stuff, bring my boards, whoever people would give me boards to bring. I went to India for the same reason.
Right.
Meet up with the crew, Holy Stoked.
You made a video of for salad day?
Yeah. So my friend Zach, who helps me with these projects, who films the projects. We weren't even planning to do anything to make a video. We just kind of realized we just went there, like I said, to go bring boards to this crew, Holy Stoked, and check out these parks that they had built. And then after the fact, like when we were stuck at home with the pandemic, we're like looking at photos and videos. I'm like, oh, we have so much stuff. We should like tell the story from the trip. So we just edited like random footage together and made that video. And we're doing one on Cuba that's coming out pretty soon as well. Just
really cool.
Pulled from footage that we had from the last 4 trips.
Awesome.
And that's the idea too, is going forward when we do trips now, like with salad days, to kind of be more conscious and tell these stories too, and like make little documentaries about it.
Yeah, I think it's important, like for and to get other people involved and interested, and who will want to contribute, maybe by either giving donations or giving old skateboards or something.
No, it's the best medium to tell the story.
Sure, and even just for you, like just to have a sort of memory of what. Those travels, Yeah,
like I said, the footage from India and this Cuba one were just sitting on hard drives, and for us to have made this and for me to and like what we're doing right now, like to have the opportunity to like tell the story, like what I think is important from these trips. To me, it's fun. It's kind of like I said, in this weird long skate career, this is kind of my favorite part of it, even though it has like nothing to do with being a sponsored skater. But
well, it makes sense. You're using all of your experience, you're traveling and what you've learned skating, and you're using all of this for this platform. So it makes perfect sense. So it's really rad. I wanted to ask you, do you have any other countries like on your kind of bucket list of places you'd like to travel to for salad days? Yeah. So in the next few years, I've been in contact with a few other skate organizations to kind of just, collaborate with them on this. Like Skate Nepal is one. Right. Yeah. I've been talking with them. So we want to try to visit the skate scene in Kathmandu and help, so hopefully we'll do that soon. That's on the next one. I reached out. I've been talking with the guys from Make Life Skate Life, and pretty much told them like I'd like to go with their blessing to any park that they've built, and see if like whatever scene needs more support. So we've been kind of talking about that, and like they've told me a few places that need more support than others. So there's a lot on the list. Kenny and I are working on it was supposed to be this summer, but we're working on a skate camp in Bhutan randomly. So nice. That got pushed back, unfortunately, to probably next year. But it's a similar thing. There's a skate park there. Okay. And, one skate park. One skate park. And it's pretty wild. It's like it's opening a door to, and now more than ever, there's like so many of these skate social conscious things going on all over the world. Like every single skate scene almost has an Instagram or something, So it's like the doors are open. Like that's my problem, is I gotta realize that I can only do so much and try to keep it focused, because I want to like
I get excited every time I learn about a new skate scene.
Yeah. You can keep doing that for many, many years. Like, I mean, even after you're retired, so to speak, from pro skateboarding, you don't have to be like a current pro skater to travel and to teach skateboarding and to hang out with skaters. Like, you can do that at however old you are,
Yeah, that's my hope. Yeah, I think that's the only way I've found, like you said, to use the experience and what I've liked from skating, from pro skating or whatever, to translate further. And like that's what I mean. Yeah, Kenny Reed's done that. Oh, that's another place I forgot to mention earlier. Is I've been volunteering at a skate park that he's the director of in Palestine. It's like a skate camp.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. For the past few years, we've been doing that work too. So yeah, it's just the inspirations. Like you take. Yeah, this is like what I said. Like what I've kind of been the most valuable thing from this whole skate experience, and it does have the potential to do further than like jumping down. I don't jump downstairs, but then jumping down a rail. You know what I mean? Like yeah, this is something like I don't need to be pro. It doesn't matter whether I'm pro or not. Like these kids, it's more of a
just share the joy of skateboarding and
exactly, yeah.
leave the stunt skateboarding to the younger guys who are gonna like do 360 flips over 25 stairs or something.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I mean that's the goal.
Yeah, that's rad. I wanted to ask you also about the Ben Raemers Foundation. So for the people who are listening who are not aware of who he is, he was a pro skater on Enjoy and who took his life I think 2 years ago or 3 years ago. Unfortunately, he was very young, like 27 or 28 or something. You were teammates with him, you were traveling with him. So you're obviously devastated when you heard about his passing. And do you collaborate in some way today with the foundation that was created after his death? So just to bring some precision, is the foundation is built to bring awareness around issues of mental health, obviously. So yeah, just how are you involved with them today?
So Ben was my best friend on Enjoy, as I'm sure anyone will tell you from any team he was on. But yeah, he was, we were really close and we'd always room together. And yeah, it's very impossible to understand that this happened, but it did get a lot of people talking because this hasn't been experienced in the skate world before to this degree, at least like the degree of like his image of being like the happy-go-lucky kid and like everyone's best friend on every team kind of devastated a lot of us, and definitely like brought up these questions like the whole world is kind of dealing with now. Is like, oh, maybe people are hurting and they don't know how to talk about it. And like skate trips were like, we go skate and we drink beer and then blah blah blah, and like Ben would like hold all these things, it was like this like weird little escape trip. Like these skate trips were like escapism. So from the demons that like people deal with, whether they're pro or famous actors or whatever, like so yeah, Ben's sister Lucy and another friend of his, like a friend of mine, Rob Matheson, and I don't know who else, somebody else formed the foundation in his memory, but mostly just to like have these conversations about mental health. And I think the most important thing they're doing is they're holding seminars to kind of offer training for team managers and also skate shop employees to witness like to like recognize and how to deal with these issues
if people around them or seem to be hurting.
Or just like how to like reach out more instead of just being like the very surface of like, oh, we skate or whatever. And I think the skate shop employee is like the most important of the two, because how much of my teenage years was spent in a skate shop hanging out,
for sure.
So I think they're doing really good work. And I mostly just thought of like, I don't know, I just made some prints of a couple pictures of Ben and sold them, offered to sell them and give the proceeds to the Ben Raemers Foundation. It's like, it ended up, I mean, it's something. Intangible, but also just like, I don't know, I wish just in any way to offer support and like to bring that conversation up is important. So
it made me really, I obviously didn't know him personally, but like I was a big admirer of his skating, and I was very shocked, like everybody, like he seemed like such a joyful person and so much energy on his skateboard, and it was just like so devastating to hear. So yeah, no, it seems like they're doing a rad job at the Ben Raemers Foundation. And
Yeah, they are. They're doing really good. It's yeah, I mean, it's horrible, but it's like I said, at least like people are having this conversation, you know?
absolutely.
Being honest about it, yeah.
So we talked about it a little bit, but like, so what are your next plans with Salad Days and with your sponsors? Do you have like trips kind of pending, or what do you have planned for the near future?
Yeah. Sponsors, I kind of assume there's no trips at all.
Yeah.
That's fine. Like I said, it's kind of like before the pandemic, at least for me, like sponsored trips had slowed down pretty much.
Oh, before the pandemic, they did already?
Yeah, for the most part. I don't know. There's just been like a general trend where we haven't been doing as many trips since kind of we filmed that Adidas Away Days video.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, like that was like a huge amount of skate trips to film that video, but since then it's kind of changed a lot, which is normal with like the change of media and everything. We do like 2 Enjoy trips a year. So
like, you mean like the whole team together?
yeah,
Or?
the whole team.
Yeah.
Enjoy like tries to keep it very much the whole team.
Yeah.
And I know Lou's got a few new AMs he's looking to get on the team, so he really wants to do a trip just to like bring and introduce everyone together to see if it works. So yeah, funny enough, the last Enjoy trip we did was I got home like a week before the pandemic. So yeah, I'm sure there'll be another Enjoy trip soon. But
yeah, I hope so.
yeah, me too. And then I was gonna go to Hong Kong March 2020, but that got postponed obviously.
Yeah.
To work on this video, a new video with Patrik. He lives in Hong Kong, so he's filming. He has this whole concept for a video he wants to film in Hong Kong.
Awesome.
So that's still, whenever. Like we've been talking about it, it's going to happen whenever it's possible. So hopefully this fall, we're hoping to go to Hong Kong with Patrik for his video, and then the Salad Days. I want to do trips as soon. That's another difficult one because I have to be responsible, and I don't want to. I don't know. As things are going to open up quicker in my home country and more developed countries, it's going to take longer for developing countries to be safe. So I have to be really conscious about when I can go somewhere through Salad Days. So there's things, I mean, whatever, there's ways to make it work, but I'm definitely going to have to be very conscious of how to do that, in the new world that we live in. But
you won't be able to travel just like you used to. Basically, you'll have to be cautious. And
So like probably less events, but I mean, I can still do the work. I had hopes before the pandemic of doing like, skate events and like kind of like skate jams, like skate demos in these places.
Right.
So maybe I'll hold off on that until it's better. But we can still, we'll just do it the right way. But yeah, hopefully, like I said, Nepal this year. I know Make Life Skate Life is going back out there to fix one of the skate parks or to expand one of the skate parks. They're going there this year, so maybe it'll all tie together.
Yeah.
But yeah, Enjoy trips and these other trips.
So. Yeah, you have a lot on your plate, I'm sure.
Yeah. Too many ideas, like I said. Too many daydreams.
Yeah. But it's actually changed a lot. And I think you talked about this in this interview I was reading about social media changing completely the landscape of skateboarding, basically. Not just skateboarding, but for skateboarding. And it has definitely been a major shift. And probably, especially now after COVID, people won't travel as much as they used to, and will probably try to skate a bit more locally, and or for American skaters, stick to the US or Canada and not necessarily go all the way to New Zealand or Asia or somewhere, But yeah, no, it's going to be interesting to see how it evolves from there once COVID gets a little bit, taken care of. So
yeah, I fear that a lot of these company-based travel, like I was talking about earlier, like sponsored trips, aren't going to resume like they used to, because it's like everything. It's like they're realizing, people are able to provide whatever the social media content from their home. Why are we wasting all this money sending them on trips?
Sure. Yeah.
That's my fear. But it could go the other way of like everyone's so sick and tired of seeing their home that they want to support these more interesting trips. So it's really like
definitely room for both, because I see skaters like you who go to places like India and Madagascar and who are trying to, promote skateboarding in these places. And there's skaters like Lucas Puig, who also skates for Adidas, who seems to be skating mostly in France and Biarritz, where he's living. And he makes rad content on his Instagram, and he made a little video about his new shoe or whatever, So he's really, just staying where he is, and he's still performing and still skating at a high level.
Yeah.
And I'm sure his sponsors are perfectly happy with that, so.
Lucas is a very good example. I'm glad you used that, because I don't know. I guess I tend to look too much at like the negative aspects of social media and kind of the quantity over quality of it.
Yeah.
Because you see so much garbage, and like pro skateboarders are guilty in this of like I don't know. I personally don't care to see like all the skate park footage.
Yeah.
Then there's somebody or whatever. I'm not hating on that, and then you see someone like Lucas, like him putting up footage of himself skate. Like I want to see more Lucas footage.
Yeah.
That's because I'm a fan. I guess that's just the basic determination of like Lucas should be a pro skater, and I want to see as much of him skating as I can see. Whereas all these other people, I'm like,
It's true. I mean, it's definitely because it's Lucas. Like if it was anybody else, maybe I wouldn't be as stoked. And he's still skating at such a high level, and he skates like a super technical, but he seems to be having a lot of fun, and that's what I like about his videos. He seems genuinely stoked when he's skating.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think it really translates, at least to me, of like, I don't know. Like I said, there's too much quantity, or it's too easy to be like, oh, everything's terrible now. But there is some good of it,
Yeah.
Like you just got to unfortunately, we used to have magazine editors and video editors who let us see good stuff, and now we have to like search for the good stuff ourselves. But hopefully quality wins in the end. I don't know.
There's still some amazing skateboarding going down. There's a lot of everything, but and that's maybe the last question I have for you, and it's actually what kind of made me want to start this whole podcast is because there's the Olympics coming very soon. And so I started skating in 2000 when I was 13. And when I started, skateboarding was already pretty big, but like still somewhat underground, at least in France it was. And I've seen it change through these last 20 years. And now it's so bizarre to see that it's going to be an Olympic sport, and that people like Nigel Houston are making millions of dollars with Nike. And it's fine. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it's so bizarre. Like the 13-year-old me would not believe it to be true. It's so strange how it's progressed. But there's that side of skating, but there's also like still a very niche underground core, so to speak, skating going on. And there's a lot of everything, basically. So that's what's really rad, and that's what makes me still interested in skating today. It's that it has many faces. It's not just Nigel Houston, it's not just Lucas Puig or you, or it's everything. So I think that's what makes it really unique and still fun and interesting. But basically my question is, how do you see skateboarding evolve from here? Like we've talked about it a lot, but like, how do you see the future of skateboarding, especially after the Olympics will take place?
I think you pointed out a lot of, that's what it's going to be. You were pretty right on, or I agree with you on that, is there's just going to be like different versions of skateboarding, or it's like this has already been happening for the past, as skateboarding's become more of like a mainstream commodity in some ways. Like it's already been happening where you've had like, you've had Nijas on the team, but then you've also had like Nijas on the same team as Uyghur,
Yeah.
So it's like Nike has, and I'm sure Adidas, like every company has the same thing. Like it's not like a cohesive skate team like they used to be, when it was all just like skateboarders, like making skate videos, like the girl videos and stuff.
Right.
So it's already kind of been going that way of like Street League. Since Street League came out, it's been going that way of like rich skateboarders, and then everyone else, like, I don't know. It's strange, but it's just a different version of skating so mainstream that like that's going to exist. And like you said, and I agree, is people's desire just to see like the skating that resonates with them. And I don't know, it feels weird talking about myself, but like I said, like I don't know why I'm still here, but I guess I'm here for a reason, or not for a reason, but like there's a reason why I'm still like sponsored, which technically like I shouldn't be. If you look at like, like all these, like if you just want to run the numbers of like what constitutes like a professional athlete, in the Olympics, like, what I mean is like there's different versions. There's things, what I don't understand about the Olympics and all these things is like you can't really quantify skateboarding and the quality of skateboarding,
Well, that's the thing.
Towards myself in a weird way is like, okay, he doesn't check these boxes, but like for some reason, like I'll film a video part, that's what I'm working on, and we'll see, if people like it or not. But it's just, I think they'll just be, they'll be like the rad skateboarding that I personally like, and I know a lot of people like, and there's so much of it right now, and like all these rad videos of people just going out skating and making cool edits, all the like hyper local edits too, which have been happening, like all the like the Johnny Wilson videos in New York were really cool because it was just like a rad crew of skaters making rad skating.
Yeah.
And I think they got sponsored from that too, because they like Nike put them all on. That's going to exist in tandem with this like corporate, like athlete, like monster energy, whatever, skateboarding.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I mean, it's just what it is. I heard someone put it in a really positive way, is they're like, you know what, if the Olympics brings more eyes to skateboarding and causes more people around the world to accept skating, that's good for everybody. So a few of the things we're doing with Salad Days we're only able to do because like the local culture accepts us to bring skateboarding because they see it's an Olympic sport, So there are some positive things, but yeah, it's just different, very different versions of skateboarding. The main thing is I don't really get how you can, I don't know how skateboarding, I haven't been paying attention, but I don't know how it's going to fit and be judged in the Olympics. Like, I don't know how you judge it.
I guess like street league, I don't pay too much attention to that kind of skating. Not that it's bad or anything. It's obviously very impressive and entertaining. But like, it's not the kind of skating I grew up watching and liking. But yeah, I guess it will be kind of the same grading system as street league, where if you do a very technical trick or if you skate a lot of different obstacles or whatever. I guess, I don't know. I'm just
it seems like the street league formula. But it's just funny. I don't know. I don't know how much skateboarding translates to, like the Olympic audience. I mean, if you're not a skateboarder, I don't really see how skateboarding could be that entertaining, or it wouldn't make any sense, unless the only like version of skating I could see being good in the Olympics would be the mega ramp, like something like that where like anyone can watch it and like, whoa, that's insane. But for the Olympics, like for a person who's doesn't know anything about skateboarding to be like, oh, but that was a switch stance, whatever, it's not gonna make any sense.
What the hell is that?
So I don't know.
But and also if it's just mega ramp, there's gonna be like 5 people in the world who can skate the competition.
We'll see, man.
There's just one question. Sorry, I'll let you go because we've been talking for a long time. But I was just wondering, among all the travel you've done, has there ever been a place or a country where people weren't very receptive to skateboarding, who kind of considered it as a Westerner thing or something that they didn't want to hear about? Or
to be honest, there hasn't been.
Okay.
I haven't had that experience. It's weird. You would think that. I think there's like been like little cultural faux pas, but like nothing that big of a deal, Like I think we went on one trip one place and we took like a taxi to the spot and they're like, ugh, like these guys, stuff like that, like we're taking, but it's for the most part it's like skateboarding is pretty, and that's like the whole beauty of it, and it's like pretty unique of how it's like transcending cultures,
exactly.
I've never really been had any weird situation arise, as long as skateboarding was the common element,
For sure,
That's also because we're always with trusted locals who skateboard, so they've helped facilitate, anything, and like help tell
because
us.
You're respectful as well. Like when I see footage of like visual traveling trips, you don't see them like getting in fights with the locals or the police or something. I guess when you're with the police, you'll just say, oh, sorry, we're just skating, whatever, trying to talk with them and respect them. And if they're going to kick you out, you just take your skateboards and leave. But not behave like dickheads or whatever,
I mean, that's the basic way you got to come from, is you have to like understand that you're in a foreign country. And I don't know, I mean, that's like anywhere. Like for us to go to Spain and be dickheads is to be a dickhead here too. It's like, it's like focusing a board. I don't see the point of it. I think the whole like punk rock skateboarding thing is, it's kind of, if you're doing it nowadays, it's kind of like an act, in my opinion.
You're
like,
stuck in the past, basically.
I mean, I'm just like, maybe I'm like becoming an adult, but I'm just like, all right, like police is telling me to leave. Why am I going to argue with the police? Like,
they're just doing their jobs.
And we know how it works. We just come back another day. Like, it's not that big of a deal. But that's the basic thing. And on those places, when we travel, we always make a point of trying as best as we can not to do any like I said, any cultural faux pas, and like try to like, have the local connection with the local skater and like have them like introduce us to things or keep an eye out, or be like, they could tell us if we're doing something that's not acceptable.
Yeah.
You just got to respect and learn about where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
So far, so good. Yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you so much. I think we can stop there because otherwise I will just keep asking you questions, and you have a life you need to get back to. So.
No, this was fun, man. No, I like the opportunity to talk about this stuff. So
yeah. No, it's really rad. Yeah, congrats on everything you're doing. It's really cool, and I hope that COVID, not just for that, but like for everything else, I hope COVID gets dealt with soon, and that you can resume traveling and go back to all the places you want to, and keep spreading that love for skateboarding. So
yeah, soon enough. Yeah,
well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Again, it was really nice talking to you.
Yeah, thank you.
So that's it for my conversation with Nestor. You can follow him on his Instagram account @Nestor Judkins and support his amazing work with Salad Days on his website saladdaysofskateboarding.com. Thank you for listening, and see you soon for a new episode of Beyond Boards.